Joseph was a special boy. He was one of 12 brothers. His father Jacob loved him very, very much. He was the son of Jacob's old age. He was a good boy who worked hard. To show his great love, Jacob gave Joseph a wonderful gift. It was a beautiful coat. It was not just any coat. This coat had long sleeves and was full of bright colors. Red, blue, yellow, and green threads were woven together. It was a coat fit for a prince. Joseph loved his new coat. He wore it everywhere with a big, happy smile. The beautiful coat made Joseph feel very loved by his father, but it did not make his brothers happy at all. They saw the special coat and their hearts filled with jealousy. "Why does father love Joseph more than us?" they would mutter to each other. They saw how Jacob smiled at Joseph. They saw the special tasks he was given. Their jealousy grew like a nasty weed in a garden. It became a dark cloud over their family. They started to dislike their younger brother. They would not even speak a kind word to him. Then, Joseph had two dreams. In his dreams, he saw his family bowing down to him. He was excited and told his brothers all about them. This made things much, much worse. "Do you think you will rule over us?" they sneered. Their jealousy now turned into deep anger. They started to plot against him. They wanted to get rid of their little brother and his silly dreams. Their hearts became hard and cold towards Joseph. They saw him not as a brother, but as a problem they needed to solve. A terrible plan began to form in their minds. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers. They were far away, looking after the sheep. When they saw him coming from a distance, wearing his colorful coat, they saw their chance. "Here comes the dreamer," they said with cruel laughter. They grabbed him and tore off his beautiful coat. They threw him into a deep, empty pit. It was dark and scary in the pit. Joseph was all alone. He cried out for his brothers, but they did not listen. They had decided to sell him as a slave to traders who were passing by. The traders took Joseph far away to the land of Egypt. It was a strange and busy place. Everything was new and different. He did not know anyone. He missed his father and his home so much. In Egypt, Joseph was sold again. He became a slave in the house of a rich man named Potiphar. Potiphar was an important captain for the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Joseph was no longer a beloved son with a special coat. He was now a slave with nothing to his name. But even in this hard place, Joseph did not lose hope. He remembered his God. Joseph worked very hard in Potiphar's house. He did every job with a good heart. He was honest and trustworthy. God was with Joseph, and everything he did went well. Potiphar saw this. He saw that Joseph was special. He trusted Joseph more and more each day. Soon, Potiphar put Joseph in charge of his entire house. Joseph looked after everything. He managed the servants and all of Potiphar's money. Potiphar did not have to worry about anything at all. For a little while, things seemed to be getting better for Joseph. But trouble was just around the corner. Potiphar's wife saw Joseph. She saw he was handsome and a good man. She wanted him to do something wrong with her. But Joseph refused. "My master trusts me," he said. "How can I do this wicked thing and sin against God?" Joseph ran away from her, but she was very angry that he had said no. She decided to tell a terrible lie. She accused Joseph of trying to harm her. She showed her husband a piece of Joseph's clothing as false proof. Her words were full of deceit. Potiphar believed his wife's lie. He was full of rage. He did not ask Joseph for his side of the story. He simply had Joseph arrested. Poor Joseph was thrown into the king's prison. It was a dark, cold, and miserable place. He was in chains, an innocent man punished for a crime he did not commit. It seemed like his life was getting worse and worse, from a pit to slavery, and now to a dungeon. It felt like God had forgotten him. But even in the darkness of the prison, a tiny light of hope still flickered in his heart. Joseph was not alone in the prison for long. Soon, two of the Pharaoh's own servants were thrown in with him. One was the king's chief cupbearer, who served him wine. The other was the chief baker, who made his bread. Joseph was put in charge of looking after them. He was kind to them, even though he was a prisoner himself. He saw that they were sad. "Why do you look so worried today?" he asked them gently. He cared about the feelings of others, even when he had so many problems of his own. He showed kindness in a place where there was very little. One morning, the cupbearer and the baker were very upset. "We both had a dream last night," they said, "and we don't know what it means." Joseph listened carefully. "Tell me your dreams," he said kindly. "Interpretations belong to God. Perhaps he will show me the meaning." So the cupbearer told his dream of a vine with 3 branches. And the baker told his dream of 3 baskets of bread on his head. Joseph explained what each dream meant. He told them that God had given him this special ability to understand dreams. Joseph's interpretations came true, just as he said. The cupbearer was set free and given his job back with the Pharaoh. The baker, sadly, was put to death. Joseph had asked the cupbearer, "When you are free, please remember me. Tell Pharaoh about me so I can get out of this prison." But the cupbearer was so happy to be free that he forgot all about Joseph. He went back to his life in the palace and did not say a word. Joseph was left behind in the dark prison. 2 more long years passed by. Then one night, the great Pharaoh of Egypt had 2 very strange dreams. He dreamed of 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 thin cows. Then he dreamed of 7 healthy heads of grain being swallowed by 7 thin heads of grain. He woke up very troubled. He called all his wise men and magicians, but no one could tell him what the dreams meant. That is when the cupbearer finally remembered. "I know a man in prison," he said, "a young Hebrew man who can interpret dreams." Pharaoh immediately sent for Joseph. Joseph was quickly cleaned up and brought before the mighty Pharaoh. The king of Egypt told Joseph his troubling dreams. Joseph listened closely and then spoke with confidence. "The dreams are one and the same," he said. "God is showing you what he is about to do." Joseph explained that there would be 7 years of great harvest in Egypt, but after that, there would be 7 years of terrible famine. The famine would be so bad that everyone would forget the good years. The hunger would ruin the land. Pharaoh was amazed by Joseph's wisdom. He saw that God was with him. "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" Pharaoh asked his officials. He turned to Joseph and said, "Since God has shown you all this, there is no one as wise as you." Pharaoh made Joseph the 2nd most powerful man in all of Egypt. He put his own ring on Joseph's finger and a gold chain around his neck. Joseph, the boy who was sold as a slave, was now a great leader. He saved up grain during the good years and saved the whole country from starvation. The famine was bad everywhere, even in the land where Joseph's family lived. Jacob sent his 10 older sons to Egypt to buy grain. They came and bowed down before Joseph, the powerful ruler. They did not recognize him at all, but Joseph knew them. His dreams from so long ago had come true. After testing them to see if their hearts had changed, Joseph could not hide it any longer. He cried and told them, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers were terrified. They were sure he would punish them. But Joseph's heart was not full of revenge. It was full of forgiveness. "Do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here," he said with tears in his eyes. "It was not you who sent me here, but God. He sent me ahead of you to save lives." Joseph hugged his brothers. He forgave them completely. He brought his entire family, including his beloved father Jacob, to live with him in Egypt. Joseph's amazing journey from a pit to a palace teaches us a powerful lesson. It shows us that even in our darkest moments, hope is never lost. It teaches us the incredible power of faith and the beautiful strength of forgiveness.